Like New York City, they all go to work.
Oh, well, thank you. Only a wife can say that and get away with it. Okay, if you guys are going to argue, we have to put you in the back there. Hello, and welcome to another sold-out show at the Velvet Note's a place where you can see and hear world-class musicians in a setting that's as intimate and as comfortable as your living room. We give you a chance to get to know the musicians and hear the music the way that it was meant to be heard. The Velvet Note is a listening room. We had our acoustics designed by a protege of the Hollywood director George Lucas, under his guidance to be the highest quality, unenhanced sound available today. And we are so happy to be back in the saddle. Yeah? It's been a week for me. I don't know. Have you guys been watching any news this week? I'm so glad to be relaxing to some music. Woo! My goodness. I understand that, you guys know, the only thing I love more than music is love. And it's my understanding that we have some lovey-dovey honeymooners here. Lovey-dovey honeymooners here, celebrating their honeymoon. BJ and Patricia, raise your hand, honey, so they know who you are. Yes, yes. Thank you. So, can you just? I'm bragging now, okay? Can you tell us where you came from?
New York.
New York. They came from New York and they said, we're on our way and we're going to come by and see you. Yeah, I know. I've been waiting for 8.5 years to get that message. Thank you, BJ and Patricia. Happy honeymoon.
We watch you all the time on the internet.
Thank you. This is better than that. But a skosh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is such a perfect honeymoon destination. Where else will you be going?
Well, we came down the East Coast.
Okay.
Ocean City, Williamsburg, we went to Charleston. We're here, going to Asheville. We've been gone for 2 weeks.
Well, I would say pace yourselves, but you are.
We're very good at that.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. So happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
One of our favorite groups of musicians is led by Justin Varnes. And they're here tonight to present their unique combination of music and cultural and historical history that surrounds that. Tonight on the stage, they have John Sanford on saxophone. Grammy Award-winning Kevin Smith on upright bass. And one of my absolute favorites, Louis Haribo on piano. I'm going to go back in the kitchen and cook your food. So if you haven't ordered yet, please do. I'm telling you, I made some chocolate bread pudding today that will knock you out. Yes. Put your hands together for the Justin Varnes Quartet!
We're going to play a little bit first and then we'll chat. Here we go. Thank you all so much. I don't know if any of you guys caught that, but as I was wrapping up my drum solo, John was just like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, I have to play the melody? You're busted. You're busted." You couldn't hear it, but Kevin back here fired you, in case you didn't know. So, thank you all so much for coming. Oh, is that for me? No, it's not for me. I was like, wow, we did really well. The first tune we played tonight was entitled Moanin'. It was written by the great pianist Bobby Timmons, but it was Mazel Tov. It was recorded by the great Art Blakey, and I wanted to play that tune to start our show for a reason, because I've been doing these jazz legacy concerts one Sunday every month, and I've had a chance to explore a whole bunch of great composers and artists that, from the great American timeline of music. And I've noticed that some of them, there's almost like you can find little boxes for their philosophies of music. And Art Blakey is one of these musicians, we're going to talk about a few of them tonight, that has a pretty simple philosophy about why he thinks he should be playing concerts and why you all should be coming out for concerts. And the best quote from him is, "Music washes away the dust of everyday life." He wants you, yes, give it up for Art Blakey. He wants you to, in effect, check your troubles at the door, come in here, smile, clap, tap your foot, nod your head, and he's one of many artists, particularly in the jazz community, who think that, and particularly if you consider, what Art Blakey growing up in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and a lot of people he was playing for, they had a lot of troubles, and it was nice to just kind of get a break from that. So that's basically what we're going to do tonight. There will not be any talk about blue and red. The only blue you're going to hear is going to be the blues coming from these guys. The only red is going to be my face when John Sanford's solo is too long. It's already happened once, for those of you who are keeping score, and some of you are. So, that's what we're going to do tonight. So I started to try to think of some of my favorite songs that just when I put them on, or when I play them, it just, you know, the day's troubles and whatever's happening on in the real world is just nice to get a little bit of a respite from that. So, yes, amen. So this next tune is one of the tracks that I love off of a great Oscar Peterson record entitled Oscar Peterson Plays with Sonny Stitt, the great saxophone player. And they play an old tune written by Benny Moten, and that song was popularized actually by Count Basie. So this is like super old school 1930s, 1940s swing era music. And it's one of my favorite tunes. It's a really simple ditty. It's easy to tap along to. This is entitled Moten Swing. One, two, Thank you guys so much. When we showed up today, it's been a while since we've had a chance to really get out and play very much. It's been months and months, and we were all a little bit slow kind of getting it together when we got together today to rehearse and put a few things together. There's a lot of like moaning and complaining on this side of the room about, like Lewis is like, oh man, I'm just so out of shape. My fingers don't move like they used to. There's a lot of that. And then second song, and he's like, but then of course John can't be outdone, so he had like, oh yeah, watch this.
It's a lot of buttons.
There's a lot of buttons on there, yes. And then Kevin was like, calm down. So that was Bowden Swing, a nice toe tapper. One of the other musicians who actually was one of Art Blakey's cohorts, they founded the Jazz Messengers together, is the great pianist and composer Horace Silver. Horace and Art Blakey and Thelonious Monk, there's a whole group of them that kind of ran together, if you will. And Horace had this same sort of thought. He said, I want my musical compositions to bring joy and happiness to people and help them forget their troubles. And we're going to do a tune right now that he wrote, and it's dedicated to the famous Pananica from the early, from the 50s and 60s of jazz. She was a big proponent of Art Blakey and Horace Silver and Thelonious Monk. Matter of fact, we're going to do an entire show on her and her contribution to the great American jazz art form. So, but a lot of musicians around the 50s and 60s wrote songs dedicated to her. When we do this show, we're going to do all those songs. But tonight, we're going to do one of them in particular. Although her name is Pananica, she had a nickname. They all would call her Nika. And so we're going to do a tune right now that Horace Silver titled for her, entitled Nika's Dream. One, two, one. mean, the song before, Boat and Swing, when it was coming toward Kevin's solo, I looked over at John and I clearly said, I got it. But then I forgot I'm wearing it. He can't see what I'm saying, but I clearly mouthed it and he couldn't see it. He just saw me do this, go like. And when John sees that, he thinks, I'm saying, so it's you solo. You're doing really well, do it some more. There it is. So, Nika's Dream, we're going to do a tune now. This is from one of my favorite jazz composers of all time. He wrote a lot of love songs and was very, very good at it. Very clever with his lyrics. Luckily, I'll spare you from me singing them. But if you don't know this tune, it's kind of an obscure tune from Mr. Cole Porter. The lyrics are great. They're enchanting. It's a beautiful love song. But he had a great penchant for being able to write really catchy love songs that also would make you tap your foot. This happens to be one of them. It's entitled "You Do Something to Me." That's just because I haven't paid you yet. Where would you like it, Kevin?
Whatever this gets paid is not enough.
1, 2. Thank you guys so much. That last tune was written by Thelonious Monk, again, part of that kind of crew with Art Blakey and Horace Silver, etc. Another person who loved to write music you can dance to. That was a tune he wrote entitled Green Chimneys. That one's a lot of fun to play. We're going to slow things down a little bit here and do, this is... Were you tired already? Long night. All right, so this tune is, like I wanted to play that Cole Porter tune, You Do Something to Me. I got a handful of tunes that I just love that I basically don't get to hear as often as I'd like. So usually when I have a gig, I like to play some of those just for purely selfish reasons. But I think you guys will like these tunes too. This is a great tune. It was written for Count Basie's band by the great Neil Hefti. And when Neil Hefti brought it into Basie's band, it was meant to be kind of more of an up-tempo tune, kind of like about the tempo we were just playing. And Count Basie kind of sat and played and was like, okay. He goes, well, what if we slowed it down? He goes, well, how slow? He's like, really slow. And he was reluctant, but then as soon as Basie kind of just plunked through it one time at that like super slow and easy tempo, it was an immediate hit for them. So we're going to play this tune for you right now. Neil Hefti classic entitled Little Darlin'. Now you see why I put up with these guys. That was John Sanford, Louis Hervo, Kevin Smith. That was amazing. Thank you guys. So bad. We're going to continue doing another little slightly up tempo toe tapper. That's hard to say. This was apparently a lot of different people wrote this song, so we're going to credit all of them. This is right after the big band era, and musicians like Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker and Thelonious Monk and Max Roach and Charles Mingus, they're all getting together in hotel rooms and lofts and writing songs and trying to create this new music called bebop. And a couple of other great important contributors here. One was actually, a lot of people in the big band era, the musicians, a lot of them kind of rejected this newfangled bebop sound in the 40s, and they kind of dismissed it, and they didn't really see it kind of going anywhere. But one of like the old school guys back then that got it right off the jump was the great tenor saxophonist Coleman Hawkins. And so Coleman was a big proponent of bebop. He loved Thelonious Monk. As a matter of fact, he started hiring Thelonious Monk before most other jazz musicians did, because Monk's unique playing kind of put him on the outs. That's not what, a lot of people say, man, that's not what a piano is supposed to sound like. But Coleman heard it. He heard it he's like, man, I got to get this in my band. And what's kind of cool is, later on, after Monk is a jazz superstar, he'd been rolling along for quite a while, and Coleman Hawkins was getting up there in age and kind of like, settling in. Monk would hire Coleman Hawkins and kind of get him back, up on the fray, so he was able to return that favor to Coleman Hawkins. But while these guys are all getting together, hanging out, there's another great composer, and her name is Mary Lou Williams. Mary Lou Williams was a phenomenal bebop pianist and composer. And somewhere from Mary Lou Williams originally starting to write this, and then all of a sudden it got turned into a song that Coleman Hawkins kind of fiddled with, and it eventually got kind of passed on to Thelonious Monk. This song has a couple of titles because there's a couple of composers. It's called Riptide, but it's known mainly as a Thelonious Monk tune entitled Hackensack. So we're going to play that tune for you right now. Thelonious Monk, Coleman Hawkins, and Mary Lou Williams. Thank you all so much. We're gonna do one more tune for you guys before we cut you loose. Before we play that tune, please help me thank again Mr. John Sanford on the tenor saxophone, Mr. Louis Hurvo on the piano, and Mr. Kevin Smith on the bass. Now John's gonna pout because you clapped louder for Kevin than John. Just want to make that clear. So sad. We're gonna close the night. I mentioned these great artists from the 40s and 50s who thought very carefully about their art form and how it can most help and heal their audience members. And I'd be remiss if I didn't include some players from that next generation who to this day are still doing that. They've even the two people I'm thinking of at the moment are Wayne Shorter and Herbie Hancock, and these are indelible artists of this music. And it was a couple of years ago actually that they got together and penned an open letter to artists and to musicians, basically saying, try to use your artistic talents to help heal the world and help bring people together. And that really hit home. It actually was one of the things that inspired me to make an album kind of from that headspace. And so I'd like to close the night with a tune written by the great Wayne Shorter. It's a lot of fun to play. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's entitled Yes or No. You gonna make it? Kevin just realized this one's fast.
Okay.
That's right. Here we go. Like you want to what? Huh? What? to the vote. Kevin Smith, my name is Justin Varnes. Thank you so much for coming and spending your Saturday night with us. Have a great rest of the weekend. And now here's the owner of the club, Miss Tamara Fuller.
Thank you so much for coming. Did you have a good time? Oh, wait. Hold on one second. Young lady who I've never seen before in my life. What was it that you just said?
I said the food was fabulous.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Who cooked it?
Young man who I've never seen before in my life. Oh, Lord. So, we're a honeymoon destination now.
So the real question is, where are you going next?
Asheville.
Go Park Inn.
But it just won't compare.
Oh! Lay it on me, baby. Exactly. Tell your friends.
But I hope you see again.
Yes. Thank you for watching us, really. We appreciate that. And I just want you to know, more than ever, this is what we love to do, which is to bring you closer to artists who inspire you, closer to each other, and closer to the song that's in your heart. Come back and see us again soon. Good night. at the Velvet Note! The Velvet Note is a place where you can see and hear world-class musicians in a setting that's as intimate and as comfortable as your living room. We give you a chance to get to know the musicians here, but also to hear the music the way that it was meant to be heard. We're a listening room. We had our acoustics designed by a protege of the Hollywood director George Lucas, under his guidance, to be the highest quality, unenhanced sound available today. And after 8.5 years, with the exception of a 5-month break this year when I stood here in the middle of the room, waiting for you to come back, I am proud to say that the Velvet Note has won 5 consecutive awards for being one of the top 100 jazz clubs in the world. So, what y'all been doing this week?
It's been a slow news week.
It's been slow news week. Well, we're going to give you a little excitement. I was just talking to these cats in the back, may you have a time in your life when you love what you're doing so much that all the obstacles don't matter. I wish that for you. And that is the honor that I have here at the Velvet Note, working with these ladies here who are going to give you the best in food and beverage and service, and bands like the one you're going to hear tonight. We started the Velvet Note in 2011, and we wanted it to be a place where people could come and feel like they would feel if they just rolled into their living room and the sound was as great as it could be, and the band was like the best band of that type they could get, and they had a chef and a bartender, and they didn't have to clean up afterwards. And part of our ability to make that happen is due to the leader who's about to get on this stage. Justin Varnes is not only an extraordinary drummer, but he's also an educator, and he has produced his own CD recently. He has toured and traveled with bands, jazz and popular and otherwise. And he's also our music director and one of the members of our board. So it is truly with great pride that I let you know that every time he chooses to come out, and they've chosen very few instances over the last few months, we're very happy to have him. He and his band tonight are going to lay down, what we call swing. Just the guts, the roots of great jazz music. And I think I felt in hearing it for the first time this past hour or so that it just let me relax and exhale and get all the good stuff in healing this week. And so I'm happy that you're here with us. I want to mention one thing. When Justin and I were standing here in this room, which was a powder blue yogurt shop. No, I'm not kidding. We made a commitment that we were going to do something that was so great that musicians would choose this place to come and play when they were not working. And we have done that tonight. Tonight, walking amongst us is one of the greatest drummers ever. And I will always be your fangirl. Paul Fallett. Put your hand up so they know where you are and who you are. And put your hands together for the Justin Voice Quartet!
What was that little dance you just did off the stage there? What was that? Ah.
My own secret sauce.
Okay. Vanna White, basically. That was nice. That was a nice little move. All right. We are going to start with a Cole Porter classic entitled Just One of Those Things. And then I will yap some, but first I'd rather play. You ready, John? Come on, man. You have one thing to do, is just hook that stupid thing around your neck. It works, those buttons. Okay, here we go. All right, here it comes. Just one of those. Is this okay, Kevin? Yeah. Okay. Fire up. Thank you all so much. Help me welcome Mr. John Sanford on the tenor saxophone. Louis Hervo on the piano. And Mr. Kevin Smith on the bass. Great Cole Porter tune entitled Just One of Those Things. So for those of you who stayed for the second set, we really appreciate you guys sticking around. As I said to the first set, this tonight is meant to leave all your troubles at the door. A lot of things going on. We want to be able to come in here and relax and enjoy ourselves, tap our toes, celebrate, be happy, and enjoy everything that allows you to just kind of chill out and relax. And one of the cool things about jazz and about music is that it affords that. Some of my favorite jazz artists, like the great Art Blakey, would always say, my job is to let you just for an hour release your troubles and come in and enjoy yourself, and that's what we want you guys to do tonight. We're going to do a tune next for you. This is a great tune popularized by Duke Ellington. It's a great Duke Ellington Juan Tizol classic entitled Perdido. This is right out of that big band swing era, so feel free to snap your fingers and make fun of John Sanford taking really long solos. Also, John has to read this, and that's not, so if you just see him like furrowed brows and lots of sweat as he like leans over the stand, just, give him a little break. All right, here we go. This is Perdido. Thank you guys so much, Perdido. I mentioned in the first set, I gave a couple of quotes of some of my favorite jazz artists. I do this series called the Jazz Legacy series here at the Velvet Notes. It's every Sunday, one Sunday a month. And we look into the lives and the music of some of our favorite jazz artists and composers. We've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years, and through those years, I've come to find these little groups of jazz artists that kind of think alike, and like I can almost put them in little baskets. And one of my favorite baskets is Count Basie and Art Blakey and Horace Silver and a lot of these great jazz artists who felt it was their job to help brighten your day, put a little pep in your step, and really, again, as I'd mentioned, kind of just be able to release your troubles, check your troubles at the door. And Art Blakey used to say that music would wash away the dust of everyday life. And Horace Silver said, I want my music to bring joy and happiness. I don't want to bring trouble and everything. I want you to be able to leave all that stuff at the door. So that's what we're going to try to do tonight. We're going to do a tune now by the great Horace Silver. This is written for one of the most important figures in jazz that wasn't a performer. With a lot of these jazz musicians in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, we look at them now and think, oh, this is amazing. Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and all these great artists. And the more I studied them, the more I realized they lived, for the most part, a very poor life. Like these jazz gigs, which we romanticize, really didn't, these guys weren't living in mansions and whatnot, and they were really suffering for their art. And there are some great people behind the scenes that kind of breathe life into them, help them out financially when they need so. And one of the ones in particular that was great to Charlie Parker and Horace Silver and Thelonious Monk and Art Blakey. They goes by the name of Panonica. There's a couple of great jazz songs written in her honor, and we're going to do one of those songs now that Horace Silver wrote. This is entitled, they also called her Nika for short. That was one of their nicknames for her. And so this is entitled Nika's Dream. Thank you all so much. We're going to continue now with a tune written by the great Cole Porter. This is one of my favorite tunes to play. This is entitled You Do Something to Me. If you don't know this tune and you're a fan of Cole Porter, go check it out, particularly with somebody who can sing, unlike anybody here on stage. They're the great lyrics. He's a really clever lyricist, and this is one of my favorite tunes of his. This is entitled You Do Something to Me. Thank you all so much. You do something to me. If you got the sense there just a second ago that Kevin Smith was a little too tired to play, it's because we're a little out of shape. I got to be honest with you. Like we don't play these jazz gigs very much anymore, so we're kind of like trying to get our feet underneath this. But in the middle of that tune, I started smiling because I haven't seen this guy, Louis Hervo, in a long time. We normally get to see each other on gigs and hang out on the breaks and catch up. It's just been a lot of text messages and phone calls for a while. So, man, it's good to see you and play with you again. Mr. Louis Hervo on the piano. Kevin, I'd love to say the same about you, but I see you way too much. But I'm still, I guess, glad to have you on the gig,
You know what
maybe.
they say, right?
What do they say?
Familiarity breeds contempt.
If anybody knows any good bass players, if you want to hand me, we'll get a business card going here pretty soon. So we're going to do a tune now. I mentioned the great Thelonious Monk, along with Art Blakey and Horace Silver, all these great musicians that kind of had this singular purpose in their music. We're going to do a tune right now from the great Thelonious Monk. One of my favorites, kind of a quirky little tune, a lot of fun to play. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is entitled Green Chimneys.
Holding up the wall back there.
We don't know what you're playing anyway, so if you want to just be a wallflower,
Can't hear it.
you're just eye candy. Why are you laughing? Here we go. Yeah, right on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you all so much, Green Chimneys. I'd heard that there is a couple here who's on their honeymoon, is that right? From New York? Did I get that right? Oh, they left. It was that crazy monk music that left. They came down here from New York for their honeymoon, and they decided to listen to jazz. Yeah, there it is. And then they were like, you know what? We're on our honeymoon. It's getting late. Why are we hearing about Horace Silver and watching this sweaty saxophonist? All right, so we're going to continue now. This is one of my favorite tunes. This was written by a composer by the name of Neil Hefti, who wrote a whole bunch of stuff for the great Count Basie. This is one of the tunes he wrote. This is originally supposed to be like a fast dance number, but Count Basie liked it a lot slower, and so they kept it in the book, and it ended up being one of Count Basie's most requested tunes. It's one of my favorite tunes. We're going to take our sweet time with it. This is entitled Little Darling. One of my favorite parts about that tune is I found out that Count Basie's band played this song, or still plays the song, decades and decades later. And apparently there is an ongoing bet in the band. When we played that song, there's those spots where all of a sudden for a split second there's nothing but silence. And the bet is you can't be the first person to play the next note. So they have these nights where that one split second of space, they just keep stretching it, and the whole audience is about to fall out of their seats because nobody wants to lose that $5. That's a lot of money, when you're on the road. So one of my favorite tunes, Little Darling, just a really pretty tune. So thank you guys so much for coming and spending your Saturday night with us. We're going to close out the concert with one more composition. This is a great tune by Wayne Shorter. I'd mentioned Art Blakey and Horace Silver, Thelonious Monk, all these great artists from the 40s and 50s who took a responsibility to when they wrote jazz and performed jazz to try and really lift everyone's spirits in the room, and that concept got carried on to the next generation. And two of the kind of icons of jazz that to this day still carry that tradition are Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter. Both of those longtime artists who always are trying to think about delivering their music to try and lift the spirits of their audience. So much so that a couple of years ago they got together and they penned an open letter to artists and musicians to say, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep creating music and allowing people a place of respite to come enjoy themselves and take a load off for a little bit. So I would be remiss to not play at least one of their compositions. So we're going to do a tune. We're going to close out the night with a great Wayne Shorter tune. One of my favorites, and it's entitled Yes or No. Before we play that tune, please help me thank one more time Mr. John Sanford on the tenor saxophone, Louis Hervo on the piano, and Kevin Smith on the bass. My name is Justin Varnes. Thank you so much for coming out. Here is Yes or No. Thank you guys so much. John Sanford, Louis Herbo, Kevin Smith. My name is Justin Varnes. Thank you guys so much for coming out and spending your Saturday evenings with us. Have a great weekend. Good night. There's the owner of the club, Miss Tamara Fuller.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming out to spend your time with us. There you go. So my honeymoon couple, I think they finally went to bed. So they're not here anymore. Do I have Shelley Winter from WSB here, 95.9? That's you. Hi, Shelley Winter. We are honored to have you in the house.
Bill Hart invited
Oh, Bill Hart invited you. That's fantastic.
that last night.
Oh, okay. When are you on air?
We're on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. and Monday, 6 to 8.
Okay, great. So listen to Shelley Winter, WSB 95.5. All right. This is what we love to do, which is to bring you closer to artists who inspire you, closer to each other, and closer to the song that's in your heart. Come back and see us again soon. Good night.